Good morning, everyone. This is part one of an inside look into Tom Brady, as told by the players and people who know him best. Please subscribe if you like Tom Brady, as I post a new Tom Brady video every day.
Hey, when Tommy was in there, like when you got him, when he came in the building, you was around him, did you feel like guys was like trying to impress Tom?
Yeah, I think so,
Right.
man. Like, hey, when you got a guy like that, you want him to get noticed. You want him to remember you, know your name. So I was so like before he got, he sent me a message. I was surprised. I showed my wife Jordan. I'm like, hey, TB hit me up on. So they excited to play
Straight
with me
up.
and stuff. Like, yeah, man. So like, yeah, we got that type of person in the locker room, that caliber player. Like everybody want to get noticed by him, and like he's just so down to earth and so cool that like it's easy. You ain't really got to do nothing. You just go talk to him, he'll talk back to you. You know, we walk like to the indoor talking, and he just we bring up old stories about him being in New England. I'm in Denver, just stuff like that. We just talk and kick it.
Yeah, that's what's up. I remember that. Just when I went to New England, like that's what the vibe I got. I'm like, man, they trying to impress Bill, but they trying to impress Tom too. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just that presence, man.
I reckon every player wants to impress Tom, especially the young bucks. They'd want to play lights out and are looking for approval from the GOAT. What do you guys think?
All right, well, by now most everybody knows his story. 199th pick overall, you know, in the 6th round, and he's the 7th quarterback taken in that draft. And I know that has motivated him with that sort of chip on his shoulder to sort of prove everybody wrong who passed on him, including the 49ers. But now, after 5 Super Bowl wins and in his 9th Super Bowl here, can he possibly still be using that as motivation at all?
I think so. Absolutely. You know, it's that's kind of soldered into his soul that you know, he wasn't worthy enough. And it started even before that. You know, when he was at Michigan, he was the 7th quarterback. When he was at Sarah, he was the backup quarterback on a team that went 0-8, didn't score a touchdown the whole season, and he didn't get into the game once as a quarterback. So I mean, this is not just a slight tweak. This is something that through his entire athletic career on the football field, he's had a fight for everything he's gotten.
Tom Brady may be the most celebrated Wolverine graduate playing in the NFL these days. 3 Super Bowl rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs sure help in that regard. You may think all that fame and fortune may have changed him, but you'd be wrong. Tom Brady is the same solid young man that arrived at Michigan from California in the mid-90s. And even after all his incredible success, he hasn't forgotten his days in Ann Arbor.
This is where I learned to play. This is where it all started. We always used to joke around, you got to be a State Street quarterback before you become anything else. And that meant you got to put the work in at the practice field to ultimately kind of achieve your goals. And it was a battle here. I mean, we had so many great players over the years, and it was constant competition, and that's what I wanted out of college, and that's why I chose Michigan. And if you don't...
Tying another Michigan Bowl record with his 4th TD pass of the game.
Let's say the washing machine breaks. Does Jeter have to come over and fix it because you're paying him?
I call and I bitch to him, and he gets it fixed. So everyone thinks they want to own a home, and it's nice to rent. I mean, I would definitely say, like, you get all the benefits with none of the responsibilities. So I'm totally cool with this.
Yeah. And I mean, how does that all work? Like, does Jeter say, look, Tom, we're your friend, but now we got to talk business. This is what I'm charging you a month. And do you kind of say, hey, dude, what about a little price break here? Or was
Friends
it an
and
easy
family? Yeah.
Who negotiated that?
Neither of us. So we let other people handle it. So it worked out good. He left it furnished for me, so I didn't have to deal with any of that. So it's just a lot of great things about it.
Not crappy furniture. In other words, I know you're a bit of an architectural freak. You love to design your own home, and you look at Jeter's taste, and you don't want to throw up.
No, he's got great taste.
Did Jeter collect like a first month security deposit and last month security deposit? I mean, because
You're like my lawyer over here. I mean, he was pretty good about it. So we handled it the right way. He's he's a really cool guy, and I've known him for a long time. So I actually think it was pretty simple.
First question, Tom. This will be your son's 9th Super Bowl in 18 seasons as a starter. Enough is enough already, is what some people say.
Actually it's 17 years really as a starter, because he was hurt one year and he didn't play in his first year. So it's been 17 years as a starter. It's almost like a broken record. Yeah. It's kind of like, frankly, I like broken records. If we, in the middle of this season, we had our ups and downs or ebbs and flows, and not very many people thought that we still had the right stuff. And fortunately, the Patriots are playing their best football right now, and they've been able to rally back. So here we are. 4 or 5 weeks ago, when we lost 2 in a row, we lost to Tennessee and then lost to Pittsburgh, and we were kind of giving up for dead. But we're heading for Atlanta next week, and happy as can be.
You and I both know, and I think that most of our listeners, if they look at it objectively, know that, look, there were axes to grind on both sides. Tom is not psyched about the way things went, certainly over 20 years with his relationship with Bill Belichick. They came to a mutual understanding. He's not changing for me, Brady would think. And Bill certainly wasn't going to. And Tom, at a point, was like, I'm 42. I'm not changing for him. But he keeps living on the high road. And I think that was the interesting thing about this conversation today, Rich. We had all the insight. We fed it to people all the last 2 or 3 years about where the relationship was. But Brady really put a buff and shine on where things were, I thought, today, and made it, this is what it was, but it wasn't as confrontational as folks like to make it seem.
Wow. Look at you. Can I just look at you for a second, Tom?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. More importantly, how are you doing during this whole crisis?
I'm doing pretty good. I've had a lot of things going on, so I tried to be smart but not fearful. And I actually moved to Tampa, and I'm down here now. My family's here.
You're renting Derek Jeter's place until you find a place of your own, right?
No, I'm going to stay here for a while, because I had to find a place on really short notice, and he's been a friend of mine. So we just talked, and it all worked out because he's living in Miami. He owns part of the baseball team there.
The thing I heard about Jeter's place, which is great, he got special permission to build super high walls so no one can get to you. Because I got to figure the fans down there are driving you up a wall. I mean, literally. So Jeter has super high walls and no one can see you, right? It's almost like Osama bin Laden's compound.
Not quite. That's Derek did a pretty good job of screening it. And I think I'm a little bit of a introvert. I feel like my house is kind of the place where I can relax. And, when you walk outside the house, you understand everything that goes along with being me. And,
right.
And I think part of it is when I come home, I want to feel like I can, let my guard down and relax. But this is a little different because when you go out to the backyard, there's a lot of boats that have pulled up and people out the front.
I wonder what it must be like to have as much fame as Brady does. I can't imagine it would be fun being subjected to so much scrutiny, whatever you do, always having to be on guard when you're in public. Certainly there are a great deal of rewards that come with fame, but I don't think I'd be able to deal with that sort of responsibility. I'm actually shocked that Brady's managed to handle it as well as he has. What do you guys reckon? Would you want that much fame? The wealth and adulation is great, but the constant watching your back, having people sue you for the pettiest of reasons, non-stop criticism, personal attacks, for me, it's just not worth it.
Every game's nervous. And, and frankly, it's no different. People say, gee whiz, you must be really nervous when your kid plays in a Super Bowl. And my response has always been, I was really nervous, just like you're nervous when your 10-year-old kid is up to the plate in baseball, hoping that he gets a hit. You're all in. And things don't change when they've moved on to a higher level of competitive sports, because you're all in at 7 years of age. It's just, that's the role of a parent. You got to be nervous for your kids.
And it's the same level of pride all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're just tickled that for Tommy, he's had the level of success that he's had, because that was his fondest dream, and to be able to have your son or your daughter, and in my case, the same thing, the highest level of success that you can have. My goodness, we're so appreciative and so thankful that this continues to happen.
He and I hung out, believe it or not, in 2005 at a bar in Boston, unexpectedly for about an hour and 15. So that would probably be the longest tenured continuous babble we had.
Was that back in his days where he could slam beers type days?
He wasn't doing. He was straight on the water. I think it was his sister Nancy was a bartender at the place. It was called the News, and he and a couple other Patriots were there. It was after a Monday Night Football game, and I had gone there with my brother after a Celtics game in December, and he had said that he'd be there. He was there. So we just hung around, just normal flipping guy.
He is wow. That. I mean, the guy really is when it comes down to it. And I mean, kind of got a glimpse of that today, don't you think, Tom?
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is, so many people talk about him as, robo-human and, a step-free quarterback. He's not. He's just a nice guy, so you're not going to get the poop stirring and the passive aggressiveness that you will get with many other people, you and me included. I mean, over the course of time. Me probably more than you, but he's just such a nice guy.
What was it like to walk out there with Brady as honorary captain? Was it a little bit surreal? And were there any nerves at the beginning of the game, knowing he was watching so close?
It was special. I went and I shook his hand before in the locker room. You can kind of just feel his presence, and you can kind of just look in his eyes and know he's, you can just tell the way he carries himself, why he's one of the greatest of all time.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day. Thanks for watching.